Hey everybody, welcome in the sewing room. So glad y'all are here with me. You know, from time to time, we need to replace our ironing board cover. And I did my little tabletop ironing board with you all here a while back. And it was real easy peasy, no sewing involved whatsoever. It was pull around, staple, and you're done. It was super, super easy. But my big ironing board, I've decided that I like sewing with my big ironing board. I always have. So I got it out and I've made a place for it over here. Can y'all see it right here? I've made a nice place for it. But through the years, can y'all see all this? This is the original cover that came on it. Do you see that? It is a mess. This red right here, I've got a story to tell you. I used to have to sew in our bedroom way back when, years ago, and the laundry room was in the bedroom. Oh, this has been 20 years ago. And I was making my daughter a cute little outfit. Had it up on the ironing board. Well, I had doors that closed in front of my washer and dryer in the closet. They were in the closet. And up above that, I had various and sundry things. One of them happened to be a can of red spray paint, hence the red paint. Well, we had just gotten this bedroom all finished, the washer and dryer, everything moved back there. Anyway, I guess what happened, as best I can recall, the washing machine was probably spinning and shaking, you know how they do. And this was not a front loader, which they still do that, but this was a top loader, and it's been 20 some years ago. So it was an older machine that really shook quite a bit. And it knocked off this can of red spray paint along with a package of upholstery tacks. The tacks hit the floor and scattered. Then the paint hit. Well, it poked a hole in that can of red spray paint. Red spray paint went all over everything, all over my hardwood floors, all over what I was sewing. It went on everything. You can see the ironing board, red spray paint, the washer, the dryer, the closet doors, the walls. Red spray paint went on everything. My comforter, it looked like there had been a mass murder in my bedroom. It looked like somebody had been murdered. But I'll never forget, I was making the cutest little outfit that had cows on it for my daughter. And I remade the outfit because it was just so cute. But anyway, at that point, I just took a piece of fabric and laid across the ironing board. Here's my piece of fabric. And y'all, it's still a good, decent piece of fabric, to tell you the truth. I could just reuse it. But I'm kind of out of the black and the polka dot thing stuff right now. So I'm going to wash this and stick it in my stash. It might make a nice tote bag or something. Well, later on, I went with, and I made this ironing board cover right here. Okay? I measured my ironing board and I made a new cover for it. Right here. And it was not the best in the world, although it worked. Yes, it did. It worked just fine, but it was not the best. All right, because I cut it, and then I had to cut the pieces for the back of it. All right. Now then, fast forward to today. Yes, we're going to make another ironing board cover. And I've got this Lori Holt, my Happy Place fabric. This is a heavier weight. It's more of a canvasy type cotton, which is good for ironing board covers or anything else like that you want to make for your Happy Place. I have taken off of my ironing board this pad right here that just lays across the very top. I folded it in half and put some clips on it. Then I laid it down onto my soil separator cloth right here. And I laid it down to where it could be cut on the fold. Okay, because this fabric, I will cut it on the fold. And I added 2.5 inches all the way around it. Okay, all the way around, I added 2.5 inches. That's to come down the sides of the ironing board and to tuck up under and to give it a good fit. I am now thinking about this top piece up here. I am maybe going to redo this just a little bit and make it kind of come in there. I don't know. I'm thinking. After looking at the one that I made, this right here came back up under really well, quite a bit. Came back up under there, about 6.5, 7 inches, which gives it a good fit. Stick your hand up in, it's like an oven mitt. Gives it a good fit right up in there. The rest of it would be fine, but I'm really thinking in my little feeble brain that maybe this might be the better option to cut and then sew. What do y'all think? Cut and sew? As long as it works, we don't care, do we? But I am going to pull this elastic. This elastic's just about had it though. I don't know, it's still a little stretchy. But you can see this is what the front of my ironing board cover looked like. Look how dirty it is. It's even got some glue, hot glue on it. It's got all kinds of things on it. It's just dirty. This needs to be washed and then possibly thrown in the trash. We'll see how well it cleans. All right. So, to start with, we need to, we've already got our pattern cut. So this right here, we can lay back over here on the ironing board because we're going to just put our pad back on there. We might even make us another little piece of a pad. I think we will. But we'll do that in a minute. Here's our fabric. And this is wider than all right, so because it's wider and because I don't need it to be that wide and I want my widest piece to be left, I'm going to refold this to save as much fabric as possible, okay? All on one piece. I'm going to scoot y'all way back there so you can kind of see what I'm doing, okay? And I think this right here will be plenty wide enough. Yes, it will. It absolutely will. Okie doke. Now then, we're just kind of making this up as we go. And everybody's ironing board is different. So, but you do want to make sure that you get it folded straight. Okay? Make sure that it's straight. Actually, I can bring this in just a little bit more. And before I actually cut this, I'm going to cut off my piece. Okay? And then I'll just have a smaller piece that I'm dealing with. Does that make sense? I hope it does. All right. Actually, it's folded over further. You know, sometimes you just have to stand up. now then, let's put all this piece away. And this right here is what we're going to work with. All right. Then all the way down there at the bottom. And I just trace this onto our soil separator cloth to make my pattern, because I like to do that. It's a great thing to trace a pattern, to trace something onto that soil separator cloth. You need to use a crayon. Crayon is absolutely the best thing in the world to write on that stuff with. Just a plain old Crayola crayon is best. Okay, I need to fold it in right here. Got it folded wrong. All right. Now then. Out of our way that goes. All right, now then, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut around this, leaving a little bit more for a seam allowance if you want to. With your extra 2.5 inches, that should be plenty. But a little extra never hurt. Okay, so here's our basic. Here it is. This is our basic ironing board cover right here. Now then, what we're going to do is this. See, here's our ironing board cover. Won't it be pretty? Oh, it's going to be so pretty. I just love this fabric. It's all such pretty colors and everything. And y'all going to ask me where I got it. I ordered it off of Facebook from a girl, and I don't know who she was. But I do know that's where I got it. All right, now then, to do this, you need to turn it in just like this, all the way around, about a seam width, which I think I'm going to take my serger and just run it around the edge, all the way around the edge of this, and finish off that edge. Let me get it up here. Alrighty. Okay, now then, can y'all see? Well, that didn't help y'all a bit, did it? Now maybe you can see a little bit. I don't know. All right, now then, maybe you can see. Okie doke. I'm just going to start. I'm going to start right down here at this bottom. Pop that under there, and I'm just going to go all the way around it. Just straight around it. But if you do not have a serger, run you a zigzag stitch around it. Okay? If you don't have a serger, run you a zigzag stitch around it. Now then, I'm going to take it over here to the ironing board, and I'm going to turn it in right like this, about maybe a half an inch. Let's see how much that is. About a half an inch. We're going to turn it in. And then I'm going to take this rope right here. Came from Lowe's. Bought it to make baskets and so forth with. But you know, rope is something handy to have in your sewing room for various and sundry reasons. In case you want to hang something, in case you want to hang yourself, or you want to hang somebody else. No, please don't do that. Either one of those. Those are bad things. But it's going to work real well for this. I use it for the inside of piping. If I'm making my own piping, and I'm going to do that here in a few minutes with y'all because I have to make a pillow. And I need piping around the outside of it. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to show y'all how to do that, make your own piping. But this is then we're going to be able to run that right in through here, okay? We're going to be able to make this a half an inch, and then we're going to run this right through here so that we can pull this up, cinch it up good and tight around our ironing board, okay? So I'm going to take this to the ironing board and press it over a half an inch all the way around. Okie doke, we're back over here at this machine now. You see what I've done? Just pressed it under half an inch all the way around. Now then, I'm going to start, and I'm going to use this, and I'm going to lay it in here just like this. Leave me a big old long tail. And I'm going to push it all the way up here to the edge. And then I'm going to sew on the other edge. Okay? Sew like this. Tuck that in, pull it all the way up. Because you want to stitch right here, but you don't want to catch that. Because if you do, you won't be able to pull it and cinch it up. Back stitch when you start and you stop. And you want to make sure that you do catch the whole thing. And then stop and tuck in a little bit more in there. Hold it over. And you want to do this all the way around. Make sure that it's all in there, and so make sure that you can pull it. See? That's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to pull it just like that, okay? So I'll come back when I get this part done. All right, and where you cut your nylon rope to keep it from fraying, you want to take your lighter. And you just want to singe the end of it. Just kind of melt it a little bit. And then it won't fray anymore. Just like that. All right? Now then, I'll meet y'all back over at the ironing board, and we're going to put this thing on. Okay, one more step. I've got this right here, this Insulbright. You use this for pot holders and pot pads and various and sundry things that you want to make. It's the batting you use for that. Since this is an ironing board, and lo and behold, it gets hot, right? We're going to, I hope this piece is big enough, and I do not have to piece it, but I might have to piece it. And I'm going to have to piece it. Looks to me like it likes just about this much, you all. Just about that much. So I will probably just cut two of them. I will. Just cut two. All right. Now this you do not need the extra 2 inches, 2.5 inches or whatever. Although I wish I had it at the end because that's all I need. You just need to cut around this, your old pad. Now we're going to continue to use this old foam pad. I'm just making it a little more padded. Just a little bit more padded, okay? And I just laid this down here and I'm just cutting around it. Just using it for a pattern. Okie doke. I had to take a phone call. So I'm back. But here is our padding. And y'all, we just got to put this thing on there. It won't take but a minute. So I'm going to lay this down. Bring y'all over here and we'll set you right here. Can y'all see this right here? Okay, this right here was laying right like this with the foam side down. Okay, it's just laying right like that. So I'm going to lay my new, y'all are sitting on it, my new one right here. Let me bring y'all over here. You can see better. Put you over here maybe. Alright, yeah, this is better. I'm just going to lay this down right like this. Right like this. Now then, we're about done. That goes a new ironing board cover. Y'all excited? I am. This one's so pretty. Just kind of lay it on here, just like this. Even it up all the way around. And you're going to start pulling, just like this. Pulling both sides of it because you want it to cinch up underneath. Okay? Just like that. See how pretty that is? And it's all cinched up good and tight underneath there. All the way around. Just so pretty. Look at that. Just perfect. And then you're going to tie it in a knot right back here. Okay? I'm going to tie this in a knot right under here. We got one more little thing to do. This ironing board has this neat little sleeve board right here. See that? I want to make a new one so it'll match, because this one's got something all over it. So I'm going to take me a piece of paper. This is not going to be big enough. It's not. Let's just go ahead and take this. Right like this. We can cut it. We can go ahead and cut this piece right here. We'll just make us a pattern out of this. Right like this. And we'll repad this. See, just like this. Okay. Take that scrap out of the trash. Now then, we're going to do the same thing with this. Let me find our fabric. We might have a little piece. Right here. We don't need much now. Just a little bit. Needs to be a little bit wider than this. Okay? Because I want it to come down there underneath good on this one. Alright, let's see if we can't cut it out of this piece right here. Because after all, if you're going to make it pretty, you need to make it all pretty, don't you? Alright, so this right here is basically our piece. And this one is a little skinnier on this end, I think. going to do this the same way. Alright, now then, there's us the pattern right there. So, I'm just going to come in here, kind of curve that a little bit, kind of curve this just a little bit, and then I'm going to press it, just like we did the other. Let's get our iron up here. But y'all know what I'm going to do before I put my iron on here? Look how dirty that is. We're going to clean this iron here in just a minute. Okay, but I'm going to finish this, and then we're going to clean our iron. I'm going to show y'all how to do that easy peasy. Way to clean your iron. I'm going to fold this in half, right here in the middle. Just like this. So we can kind of curve this and make it even on the sides so we know what we're doing. Alright, there we go. Now then, we're going to do the same thing with this one. And I'm using this piece of Teflon here because I don't want to get this goo on my new ironing board cover. Okay, it's on. It just cuts off. Does your iron cut off and then get cold and you're like, why is my iron cold? Well, dummy, you've not ironed with it in an hour. It's saving your house from burning down. That's me. That's me. Alright, I've got to run my serger around this and turn it up and run my string through it, just like I did this bigger, okay? Exactly the same way. Alright, I'll be back when I get this done. Okie doke, here we got this one ready to go on. Let's lay our new piece of stuff on it. Lay this right up here. I hope I made it big enough. I didn't measure, y'all, and I didn't make this piece big enough, so I gotta make it again. Alright, I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, take two. And then I think this one will be plenty big enough. Just want to pull it down there and cinch this up good and tight all the way around it, just like that. And smooth it out. Look at there. Now then, look at our pretty ironing board. It's all cinched up there good and tight all the way around. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? All matches now. That's the first time I've ever covered that little piece. Now then, you all have asked over and over and over, how do you clean your iron? I'm going to show you. Let me gather just a few little supplies. I'll come back and we'll get our iron good and clean. Alright, to clean your iron, the way I clean my iron, you need some salt. It does not have to be kosher salt. That just has to be what I have right here. You need some wax. Doesn't have to be loose wax. It can be an old candle. It can be anything like that. I've always just used an old candle. Just an old taper candle. Works beautifully. Actually probably works better than this. I've got this taped up. But what you do, and I've got this old piece of fabric here. You want something old that you don't care about, because you're going to get wax on it. You don't want to get wax on your new one. And I've got some paper. Just old sheets of paper right here. And I've got several layers. Just old paper, printer paper. You do not need a lot of wax. Okay, you do not need a lot. First off, what you need to do is take your iron, take your wax, and melt it. Just like this. Okay? Just like that. Then you want to take some salt. Doesn't take a lot. And that salt is the abrasive that cleans your iron. There are lots of iron cleaners out there. Yes, there are. You want to try to keep all this up here onto your paper. And you just want to do this right here, over and over and over, till it gets all the goo off of your iron. And then you just press with it. Might need a little more wax. If you do, you just throw you some more out there or put you some more on your iron till you get it clean. All right, now then, you can take a piece of steel wool and scrape over that. I'm going to run downstairs and grab me one, and I'll be right back. All right, I've just been going over this and over this. I went downstairs, didn't have any steel wool. I got this little nylon scrubby thing. It takes off some of it, okay? But it's just about as clean as it's going to get. You can also use a piece of sandpaper. You just need something kind of abrasive if you've got stuff that's very stuck on there. You want to be very careful because this wax and this salt is hot as fire. I'm telling you, I've just burnt myself a couple of times, so you want to be very, 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 very careful because it is hot. But there you go. That's about as clean as it's going to get. So I'm going to unplug this and let it cool off. And when I do that, I want to show y'all something else I do. And my granny did this. Right here. I have got an extension cord because my ironing board is not set up against the wall where our outlet is. So I have to plug it into an extension cord. There's the cord to my iron right here. Here's my extension cord. Now, Granny didn't have this. She didn't have these clips. But this works great. You want to clip both of these into the middle of that clip, right like that. Flip that like that so it won't be tempted to be opened. Take you a safety pin, which I have some right here. Right here, a safety pin. And pin it right there to the end of your ironing board. You plug and unplug it right there, okay? And then you've got all of your cord, easy peasy to use. Oh, mercy, y'all just fell off the table. Then you've got your cord. Then you've got your cord right there. You can use the whole cord, okay? But like I said, I use the salt, and I use this, and you want to come in there at the end and get all the salt out from underneath, right in here. See, there's salt up there. You want to get all that out, get all this off. Right like this. But that is how you clean your iron. You use wax and salt and maybe a piece of steel wool or some sandpaper. And it comes as clean as a whistle. But as always, it's better off not to have to clean it. And I do usually clean mine more often, but I hadn't cleaned it in a while, and I've been doing a lot of sticky stuff. So take that downstairs and wash it. I'll fold all this up. This can be used again, you all. But there's our new ironing board cover. And our clean iron, yes, our clean iron. And our ironing board cover. Have to get the salt all off of it because, yeah, we got salt on it. There we go. Look at there. Isn't this nice? A nice clean iron and a new ironing board cover. Yay! Now we can go sew something. That's going to be all for this one. It was real quick, real easy to do. You can make you an ironing board cover to fit any size ironing board you have, or a tabletop ironing board. We did that one way back when. Yes, we did. And I still will use it if I'm ironing small pieces there beside the machine, my little quilt pieces. But if I'm sewing a garment or something large, I like my big ironing board. I just do. That's just me. It may not matter to you. You may want to iron everything flat on a big square surface, and that's perfectly fine. I say go for it. You do what works best for you. But that's going to be all for this one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.